Hello and welcome to another Scottish mountain walking guide. This week I'm completing the last of the Glen Lyon Munros, the Càrn Gorm Circuit at Invervar. These mountains have a reputation for being difficult to access, with them being fully closed to walkers during stag stalking season from the 28th of August to the 20th of October, and that's followed by the hind stalking season from the 21st of October to the 14th of January. I've included links to the Outdoor Access website page detailing the stalking dates and the Chest Hill Estate's own website in the description below. The old Walkers car park at Invervar has also been closed, and the nearest parking is 1 kilometre west of Invervar. The total distance for today's walk is 20.5 kilometres with 1,385 metres of ascent, and it covers 4 Munros. In summer conditions it's expected to take around 7.5 hours to walk. This is another easier route to navigate with a well-worn path for the most part, and it's a nice circular walk around the ridge. This also gives you the option of going clockwise or anti-clockwise depending on which way the wind is blowing. Parking is free 1 kilometre west of Invervar on the road in Glen Lyon. Some vehicles use this parking overnight, and it filled up at 6 AM in the morning when I was there. It can take around 20 cars, which is surprising when you see the size of the parking area. It's around 2 hours drive from both Glasgow or Edinburgh. So starting from the parking area, you're going to return along the road heading east. After about a kilometre, you'll come to a little cottage, and just before the cottage there's a gate. You'll turn to your left, walk through the gate and up through the woodland. The path splits, you can take either path, but if you take the one on the right hand side, that'll take you by an old mill. You'll come to the end of that and then turn left following the path, go through a gate and continue to follow this path up through the woodland. Very nice walk at this section. You'll come out at the end of the woodland through a large gate and onto a gravel track. Turn right at this point and then keep close to the fence line. There is another gravel track that goes up this way, but just ignore that. So you go up through the edge of the woods, nice and shaded, and it's a nice easy walk at this point, gradually rising in altitude. As you come up to this point here, the gravel road that you're on continues straight ahead, but ignore that and turn down to your left to cross over a very bouncy metal bridge. And this is also the last good point to get fresh water. I filled up here. There are a couple of water sources on the mountain, so it's not as difficult as last week's walk in the grey quarries. You'll go onto the opposite side of the stream here and follow the path. There are a number of posts at this point, sort of yellow and green painted posts that you can follow on the path ahead. These posts are only at the start of the walk, they do not go the full way around. You'll zigzag up here and come to the end of the woodland. From there you follow the worn path up on the hillside. It's fairly easy to follow, even in cloudy conditions you can see the worn path ahead. You'll come up a slightly steeper section, it levels off again, and then you're going to come up another steeper section which starts to get a little bit rockier, up to the summit of Càrn Gorm. Once you reach that summit, you'll now start heading in the more northerly direction. The wear is a little bit less at the summit, but as you come down here there's a clear path again. Going to cross along this sort of flattening off area. Ignore this little top, there's a path that goes round the north side. You go across this little bielach and you'll see the path ahead, assuming it's not too cloudy. But the path was always visible on a clear day ahead. You'll come up, this section gets quite rocky, but when you join the rocky section there are a number of fence posts, so you just follow the line of the fence posts. And that will bring you to the second top of the day, Meall Garbh. The cairn here is made up of a lot of rusty fence posts, and it made for a surprisingly good windbreak, given that it's not actually that large. From there you're going to continue in an easterly direction along the ridgeline, again following the fence posts. Down to this point, the fence posts then turn to the right, but you go straight ahead. There's a clear worn path to follow. You just continue to follow that track, keep going easterly. Now you're going to come to a little cairn at this point, and from here you're going to have a good view of Schiehallion, which is across here to the northeast. But when you reach that little cairn, you want to turn to your right, and that keeps you on the crest of the ridge. There is a path shown here, but I found it easier. There's also a line of fence posts, so I found it easier to head along the line of fence posts and follow that route. Because of the two different paths, the wear on the ground is not as visible as it has been up to this point. It gets a little bit vague. Again, you'll see another cairn in the distance. It's where both paths converge, and now the wear on the ground is much clearer. You'll continue to follow the track and it starts to curve gently round to the right. This little bit here up to the summit is a little bit surprising. Normally the path would be more direct, and I saw no reason why you couldn't just walk straight to the summit, but it is a well-worn path that goes along underneath the summit and then doubles back. Because it goes underneath the summit, there was considerable wear going right towards these crags, so you just need to keep an eye on your position. When you get close to these crags, you want to then turn to your left and walk across the summit of Càrn Mairg. Now the descent down Càrn Mairg across to Creag Mhòr is a little bit more tricky and could easily be the most difficult part of this walk. On a clear day, from Càrn Mairg, you can see clearly across to Creag Mhòr, and you can see that it's this direction, a sort of southerly direction. The easiest route to get there is to continue east. So you come down sort of southeast and then go directly east and curve round, and you're now going sort of slightly northeast. This is the least steep descent, and it's quite a rocky top, this section. You can go down this path, and that is quite a steep descent. On the actual video, I went somewhere in between. I was following a worn path, but it was not the right path. I got to this point and I should have made a sharper turn to the left and then went straight out. I actually came down through here and then joined the path over here. Once you're on this path, it's a very clear, well-worn path. You follow that along to the ridgeline and then descend directly south down the ridgeline, over the Bealach and then up the other side. And as you come round here, there is a stream here that you can fill up again, and you approach the summit of Creag Mhòr. From Creag Mhòr, you're going to descend again directly to the west and come along. You could go more directly down to the path here, but that's not where the obvious signs of wear are. They take you up and over this little top, and even here you continue down and then curve round and then start heading north. All of this route that's shown here is a well-worn path and easy to follow, and nothing difficult at all in descending any of this. Then you're going to come down along this ridgeline. It does get a little bit steeper at times, but there's no scrambling and no difficulties coming down here. The steepest sections have little zigzags on them just to make it easier to descend. There are some other paths. I would ignore these paths. They seem to go down to the farm and just continue to head down the ridgeline. It will bring you onto a gravel path at this point, and then you follow that gravel path back down and then through the gate, and you're now back on the path that you used in the morning to go up onto the mountain. So just follow your own path back down through the woodland, all the way down to the road, and then turn and walk along the road. There's probably a little bit more traffic on the road at this point, and it's not a wide road, it's a single track. And return back to the car park. Good morning, I'm at the parking lay-by for today's walk. It's just after 6 AM. From the car park, you head back along the road east towards Invervar. It's about a kilometre, and then we're going to turn left, take us up onto the mountain. So you'll come to this sign, it says Lint Mill, go through the gate, and then we're going to walk through the wood a little bit. Just taking the left here. After you come through that gate, you come to a rough gravel road. I'm going to head left, and I think we just go up the side of the fence line here. You climb over the gate here and just continue up this gravel road. Just up ahead there's a little footbridge that takes you over the river here, and then the path goes up the side of the woodland there on the left hand side of the river. And also that's about the last point we can get water as we cross this stream. For about 5 kilometres there's a little pond on the ridge way up there, Might be able to get some water there. And then near the last summit there's some streams. So you just got to be careful that you've got enough water for this route. Quite unusual, we've got marker poles here. You can see one up in the corner there. Wonder how long they go on for. Just leaving the woodland behind, now on the mountain proper. Looks like this is a well-worn path, should be easy enough to follow. Views are starting to open up now. You can see the end of the Lors range over there. Just looking down Glen Lyon. Fourth Munro for today. It's just a ridge walk all the way along the ridge. Like a big horseshoe, this one. It's been a bit steeper after leaving the woodland, but we're starting to get some good altitude. When you come to this little cairn, straight ahead, it's about 1.5 kilometres. You can see a couple of people just near the top and making their way up. And from there it's just a lovely ridge walk all the way around. Still got about 150 metres to ascend to the summit of Càrn Gorm. Sun's starting to break through the thin cloud. I'll need to break out the sunblock shortly. You can see Ben Lars and Ben Glass over there. At the summit of Càrn Gorm. It's a little bit difficult to tell which top is the very top. It looks like this is the top in OS maps. There is a trig point over there. We'll obviously walk by that anyway. The wind has picked up. There's quite significant wind chill. So I'm just going to head north, go over the other top and then start the descent along the ridge. I'm not going to stay here long, it's just a bit too cold. From the knocked over trig point, you head north, it's just very slightly east of directly north, down this obvious ridge line. You go along, you keep to the left hand side of that little top there, and we're going to make our way up onto Meall Garbh, which you can just see the pointy top of it over there. With a bit of luck, the wind's coming from the left to the right, so as we bend round heading from north to east along the ridge, the wind will be behind, and I'm hoping it's a little bit less, because right now it's very cold. You can see ahead, the clear path goes straight on around the left hand side of this little top, and we just keep going straight on to the next summit. There is a little stream here, and you could easily fill up if you've got a water filter. So there are multiple water sources on the route. When you get onto the rocky section, you really just follow the fence posts. There is little bits of wear, but it's not far to the summit now. At the summit of Meall Garbh, now you get a good view of Schiehallion over there, just slightly northeast of us. That didn't take very long at all. It's just a short up and down, down and up. And Laura's group over there. It's only about a 45-minute walk from that summit to here. If you sit right here, you manage to get out of the wind with the cairn blocking it. So from here we're going to continue on to Càrn Mairg, and it's heading east. You can see the path quite clearly on the hillside over there, so we're just heading that way. It'll eventually curve round, and you can see the final summit over there. The path continues along the fence posts, but just ahead it's going to veer off to the left, which is directly ahead for us. The fence posts go to the right. Just going to follow along this ridge, bend a little bit left and right and go up the other side there. When you come to this little cairn and you've got an excellent view of Schiehallion, you're going to bend to the right, go along the ridge a little bit to the right and then back to the left, and you can see Càrn Mairg over there. Just looking back at that little rocky bit over there, the path is a little bit less clear, but essentially you're following the fence posts, and then up ahead there's a little cairn. From there we're going to break to the right slightly, and you can see the path going across the hillside in the distance. At this cairn, just start bending round to the right. Do need to be careful where you're going just now. You're going towards these rocks, but you then need to cut back to the left, and there's the summit cairn just over there. At the summit of Càrn Mairg, a great view of Schiehallion again, probably slightly closer this time. So looking southeast across to Creag Mhòr, and there's the Ben Lodge range. And just looking back along the ridge that we've just come across. From this top you're heading directly southeast, which is more that way. The summit's a wee bit further south of direct southeast. Head down there to the Bealach and then up the other side. The path is a little bit vague to start with, but as you head over you'll see that large outcrop of rock directly ahead, and down to the left of that you can clearly see the path on the hillside. Just head down there, then bend to the right and go across the very broad Bealach there, and then the path goes up to the right hand side of all of that. You can see the channels in the mountain there. It goes up to the right hand side of that, and then you go along the ridge to the left. I should stop following random paths. I'm coming a little bit down to the right too much, so I'm just going to work my way back round and join the path that he's on over there. So you can see the path there, it goes straight ahead, so coming down more to the left as I'm descending. I mean, I'll get down here, but it's probably not the easiest way. So just looking back up where I should have come down, and that's where I did come down. It wasn't that bad. There is also a route that goes straight down, more direct. You can see the erosion of the path there. So that one's more to your right as you descend, and it goes down and cuts across more direct. You've got options. At the summit of Creag Mhòr, fourth and final Munro for today's walk. So I came down across that to the right as we're looking back. You can come straight down where that green bit is, it's quite steep. Alternatively, go more round to the right as we're looking back, and it's a easier decline, which is the route I'll show in the map at the beginning. Càrn Gorm, way over there, where we started. From this summit, you're heading pretty much directly west. Again, it's a clear, broad path to follow up onto that little top there, and then it'll bend a little bit more to the left as we descend down back into Glen Lyon. It's meant to be a fairly steep descent. We'll see what it's like. The walk so far has mostly just been nice, undulating, gentle ups and downs. Small sections are a little bit steeper, but it's just a nice walk. From the final summit, it's a 6-kilometre walk back to the car park. I'm going to go round to the right. I want to be on that ridge across there, right in the middle of the frame. You want to go along the top of that ridge. And then down over the end. It's a lovely viewpoint. Looking up Glen Lyon. Yeah, the wind's picked up. Walking more into the wind now. So I'm going to curve round to the right, just get onto that ridge over there. I think I've just come down the steepest section. It's got a big zigzag, a couple of big steps. It's not difficult, it's not exposed. It is just a walk. From here, the more worn track bends round to the left, but I think that takes you down to the farm. We just want to go straight ahead. There's another one of those green and yellow poles to indicate where the walker's path is. Potentially it gets steeper over the edge there, but looking at the map, it doesn't look like it's any more than what we've just come down. I'm almost back down to the gravel road that we were on this morning. That gate down there, we came through there. This is a little bit steep, but nothing difficult, no scrambling, no hands-on, just a couple of big steps. It is just a walk downhill. Steeper than on the Ascent. So I'm just going down here to that road and then through the gate. When you get back to this gate, there's a couple of red posts. Go through here, walk down through the woods, you'll get back to the main road, turn to the right, and then just back to the car park. So you need to turn to the right and then go through the woodland back down to the main road. It does give you the opportunity to see this abandoned mill. If you've watched the video up to this point, thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to showing you more in the next one. That's just exactly 7 hours since I left the car park. Around about 6.5 hours walking time. And you can see how busy this car park is just now. Every space is taken. So you do want to get here early. Anyway, thanks for watching and bye for now.